Go across the road now, and it's that blue building next to the tower that says museum on it that we're interested in. Let me try and line things up as best I can. So here we go, here's that building in 1974 when it actually served as the museum in Teignmouth itself. And you'll notice over there the Masonic Hall is across the road, it's still visible in this picture. Anyway, here it is. There we are, possibly a better line-up for the shot. As you notice, the railings are still in front. They're the same railings from 1974. Isn't that crazy? Anyway, I'm going to head back and get my ears done now. So I'm going to try and line it up. Roughly, it's about here. You can't see because of the tree. But anyway, some people on a wall. But what we're looking at specifically is the Cantonese house, which is there. Is Carol's kitchen, and the Seaview Diner, which is there, is a Wimpy, which gives us a good date, because Carol's kitchen opened in 73, not 73, sorry, 83, and the Wimpy didn't stay the Wimpy for very long, so we're looking at about 85, I think. Here's the picture anyway. So we'll go for about 84, 85, how it used to look down here when Cantonese house was Carol's kitchen and the Seaview was a Wimpy. Anyway, off to the doctors. Almost unbelievable. It must be a miracle. It looks like I'm actually going to be able to get down to the location that I've been trying to get to for so long, where it's always been covered with water. Hopefully I can do it justice, and hopefully you think it was worth waiting for. All this build up about this picture by the lighthouse. But anyway, I've got to be careful not to slip now as I get down to this last little bit here. I'll get into position and we'll take it from there. And here we go, 1900s, rebuilding this stretch of wall with the lighthouse in pretty much the same position. All done of course by hand, no concrete. Here we are, bush. Well, to think that that wall there, as dangerous as I get to close to the edge, that wall there is the exact same wall, exact same stones that you see in the picture, and the exact same lighthouse. Lovely. So there we go, that's the lighthouse picture I've been trying to get for ages. At last. Well, kind of a then and now anyway. If you remember Dan, who sent me those lovely pictures of the pier, he also sent me a couple of pictures he'd taken of the Parson, or Shag Rock as it's also known, which he took himself pre-2003, when he was out on a boat obviously. So here we go, a couple of shots from Dan. So there we go, that's what it looks like up close from the sea, pre-2003. Oh yes, going to jump into another picture from Dan. And it's going to show, kind of if you imagine looking straight through the kayak cab, the Victorian Shelter that used to be over there. It's right in the centre of the picture now. You'll also notice that the pavilions isn't built, and you can also see the Royal Hotel. Well, there we go, it would have been over there. Let's say it was demolished so that the view, the council building could have a better view of the seafront. But let's just go and try something a little bit different, see if we can get a better look at it from doing something else. Anyway, going to drop you a little clip from the old Norman Wisdom film now, where he comes along here, goes along the seafront, goes right past that shelter. what we'll do is I'll run the film, and when we get to that shelter, I'll freeze frame and tell you a little bit more about what I'm thinking. Here you go. Okay, so there's the shelter in all of its glory, as I remember it. Other things of note are the two-way traffic along the upper den carriageway, along with the pier sign, which is painted white on red, as opposed to the modern day when it's red and lettering on a white background. Anyway, I'll run the rest of the clip. Take note the next time that you see a shelter, it is the one that's further along, but then all of a sudden he's back at this one here for its third appearance, and then he goes straight onto Shaldon Bridge. What? Yep, magic of film, eh?
Closing on him, that's it, closing. Go on. No, go on, you're dropping behind a bit now.
There we go, that's roughly where it would have been in the freeze frame. Shall we watch the clip again without me stopping it? Yeah, why not?
Closing on him, that's it, closing. Go on. No, go on, you're dropping behind a bit now.
And there we go, that's the twin shelter. Exactly the same that you saw in that clip as well. All good. You know, that was the Royal Hotel. Didn't look that much different to the Royal Court Flats, to be honest, although it has been completely rebuilt. But here's something from 1975. It's not exactly a then and now, because I'm not lining anything up. But it's an advert or an article in the paper, a photo of the chef in the grill room, 1975. Here you go. Yep, 1975, and it is now raining, so I'm going to start heading back. Right, quick random one to do with the bowling club. See where it says Den Bowling Club on that lintel above that window? Well, that's going to come into it. And this is kind of like a personal one for me, because in this one, I found it the other night, this is actually my uncle, Dick Evely. He's the chap that used to live up on the top, where I go up and over the top, Oak Hill Road. And he was opening the bowls thing in 1971. So there we go, I remember him quite well. As I say, he used to live up on the top there with the swimming pool. And then he moved down to the back beach with me auntie, obviously. And that's the people I say used to live on the back beach, auntie and uncle. Now I don't remember him that well, to be honest. I couldn't say exactly when he passed. But I can remember him as a small child, Uncle Dick. Always had a big pipe full of tobacco on the go. Very rich aroma, I remember that. When I got to Joyle Raid, which is where they lived, the house up on the top. Nice bloke, but I say I don't remember much about him really. Here's the first one, that red building. Slightly different wall here, but the same down there. And this is from the mid-70s. Now I can give you the mid-70s by the next photo I'm going to show you, by the way the child is dressed. But anyway, this was the mid-70s from about here. Okay, so just a little bit further, just as the car comes, just a little bit further down, get our next photo, which I believe was taken the same day, from the same set of photos, so it's the same date. Like I say, there's a small child in the photo, and I give his dress like the 1970s, simply because it's probably exactly what I would have been wearing at his age. So, that's my guess on it. Anyway, let's try and find the exact place to line it up with. Not sure exactly where it is, but I've got to look on the side to the gates. Anyway, we'll see what we can do. Here we go, pretty much here, from the white stone pillars leading to the cottages there, and the house directly in front of me. 1970s, here you go. Anyway, carrying on down just a little bit further, again, not more than about 100 yards really, because we're going to look on the other side of the road now and see a shop that used to be there. Going to line it up. Okay, roughly here, I'm going to date this in the late 50s, early 60s. If you notice there, there's a sign for the Shipwrights Arms just visible at the side of the building. There's also still visible in this photo. So here we go. Yep, that would have been here in days gone by. Anyway, going to go right down to the end of this. There's the sign. Just going to go right down to the end of this road now. Look back the other way for a couple of very similar shots from slightly different time periods. Okay, so this is virtually this view here. Around the 1900s. You can tell by the child how she's dressed in the photo. There we go. And in the next photo we're going to jump ahead, because you'll notice that outside the Hunter's Lodge there's now a power line or a power pole sticking up. So that will give you a date as to where that came from. Here you go. Now over there, behind those trees, it's a golf course. And I'm going to drop in a postcard from Shaldon, from the golf course, from some time ago, taken up there sort of behind those trees. Anyway, here you go. Though, as you come round to this fish pond, I am filming this deliberately so you can sort of get some context. Gonna go for a quick then and now about here, how it used to look, showing the house behind, which you can't see now because of the growth. Anyway, here's the picture. There we go, that's the Nest farmhouse, which is in the back of the picture, which you couldn't see simply because of all the trees and growth. And here we go, out the Salty Dog. Not going to go for a list of items today, going to show you an artist's impression from before the Salty Dog was the Salty Dog. Just here you go. Possibly, to line that up properly, I'd have to stand over there, which isn't going to happen. But there we go, Salty Dog before the Salty Dog. If you remember when I did that 1960s loop of Teignmouth video, I ended up on a video that showed or a photo that showed the old signal box. What I noticed when I watched it back was that same photo also shows behind there the buildings behind that part of the station. So I'll just flash it up quickly, even though you've seen it before. Like I say, it shows the old goods yard buildings behind the station. Anyway, as we know, all that was built in the 90s. To the left there, all that wall. And over there was the Clifton Hotel. But hopefully I'm going to line up a shot taken from the beach over the wall, which shows that church and that corner there and that sort of place where you can sit in, shelter in the wall. And it also shows the bit of the old cafe that used to be there when it was a Clifton Hotel. Anyway, I'll see what I can do to line things up. Give me 2 secs. Here we go. Like I say, you're looking at the church behind those windows and the little seat in the wall. There you go. Yep, so it's right there. Of course, that wasn't there. They were down on the beach filming over the wall, which was damaged at the time. All good. Here, that corner there, that doorway was where you went down into the club, and around that side was a car park, and the little pool room at the side was about there. Anyway, here's a picture of it back in the day. So there we go, that was the Ivy House, especially for Simon, who asked me if I had any pictures of it. Could I do one? So I said yes, I'll do one today. All requests are taken like that if I got the pictures, by the way. And all good. And I've also got a press clipping with some information about when it was knocked down or being sold off or whatever it was. Anyway, you can pause it. Here you go. And that press photo would have been taken from about here, showing the entrance at the side and the little car park at the front as it used to be. The Ivy House, Ivy Lane, Teignmouth. When we